DENDAN. Written by Ryan Doyle. Exterior, Zanzibar Harbor, Tanzania. Day. Ahmed, 50, deftly trims the tall, triangular sail on his wooden sailing dhow. It catches the wind, heeling his boat to the left as he leans his thin frame to the right. The dhow accelerates silently through the crystal-clear water. Rafiki, 20, sits at the bow. He texts on his phone, looking bored. He eyes motorboats rushing from the harbor, overtaking them. All italics are subtitled Swahili.
Look at them. Will there be any fish left for us by the time we get to the reef?
The sail is the most reliable form of transportation, my son.
Rafiki scoffs. Ahmed tacks the boat, turning the rudder so the sail flops over to the other side. They deftly duck as the boom swings overhead with a creak and a clunk. Rafiki eyes the dozens of dhows with outboard motors on the beach, men selling parts and mechanics wrenching on them.
How much time do you think they spend fixing those engines?
Rafiki shrugs and grunts.
The sails always work.
When there is wind.
Right now we have the Kusi winds from the southeast. In a few months we'll have the Kaskazi from the...
A motor trawler roars by mere feet away. The huge wake shoves their dhow onto its side. Ahmed and Rafiki are dumped overboard. They surface and grip the side of the dhow. Rafiki watches 3 young men aboard the motorboat howl with laughter. He pounds the side of the dhow with his fist. As they climb back in, a deep rumble builds from somewhere beneath them. They exchange confused looks and wipe water from their faces.
Do you hear that?
Ahmed nods. They look over to the side, into the water. Nothing besides white sand several feet below.
It sounds like an earthquake.
They're startled by the roar of the motor's trawler engine revving in the distance. It belches a huge plume of black smoke and bucks to a sudden stop. The young men aboard scream as they're thrown forward. Ahmed and Rafiki stare in shock. The trawler is yanked backwards, then forwards by some unseen force. The young men are tossed on deck like rag dolls. Ahmed and Rafiki stand up to watch, mouths agape. The trawler's engine revs again as its bow is pulled under by something. Water rushes over its deck, washing the young men overboard.
I don't believe my eyes.
The 3 young men now scream for help, treading water beside the half-sunk trawler.
We have to save them.
Ahmed sets the control line for their sail on a cleat. The wind catches the sail, heeling them over. They silently move towards the panicking men. The motor trawler groans as it's pulled completely beneath the waves. Steam and smoke rise from the surface. Everyone watches in shock. One of the young men is yanked underwater. The other 2 shriek in terror. Another young man screams as he is yanked under. A plume of red blood forms around the remaining man. He yells and waves his arms frantically. Rafiki paddles with his hand to try to speed up. The last man's eyes fix on the water in front of him. He lets out a terrified whimper. Something unseen attacks him. He chokes as he is pulled under. The water turns crimson. Ahmed releases the sheet line, slacking the sail and slowing the dhow. The rumble subsides. The sail flaps limp in the breeze. Ahmed and Rafiki stare at each other. Red waves lap against the hull. They look back towards the harbor. They are several hundred yards from land. Ahmed turns the rudder for shore.
Let's go, let's go!
Rafiki paddles. The rumble returns and builds. A crowd is gathering on the beach. People take out cell phones and film.
Don't you wish we had a motor now?
The rumbling sound grows into an intense vibration. The water ripples all around them. Ahmed's eyes are fixed on the sail. The wind catches it.
Help me paddle!
The boom creaks and the dhow moves along slightly faster.
We're going to die!
A long, tense beat as Ahmed guides the dhow into the shallows. The rumble fades. Rafiki collapses in the bow, catching his breath. Near silence. They silently coast onto the beach. Several people run down to the water to help them. Ahmed wipes sweat from his brow. Fade out.